What's going on? And welcome back to the A Show with the Kings of Pro Wrestling Podcast. I got another king with me this week, though. Mills is off on location, and I got the other pro wrestling king. We're all kings though on the A Show network. You know what I'm saying? We're like what? We're like eight of us at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
eight,
like
nine.
eight of
It might
us.
be nine. Dion, Donnie,
Oh yeah,
Chan,
9,
CC,
10.
me, Quan,
Eh,
Cyrus. It's a lot of us niggas.
a lot of kings here, but we got Armon from the rewriters room. The new admin, I must say. Of the A Show Discord. I haven't seen power go to your head yet, but
I, uh, yeah, no, not yet. I've probably pinned just like two messages in like sports chats, and I had to crush a couple gems because people were sending misinformation and fake accounts into the sports channels, and we really try to keep those pure. You know, when you got guys like Mr. Chuka, whose real name I'm not gonna say, or you got people like Mr. Forgetful just in there,
oh yeah,
crashing out. You
yeah, yeah.
know, you gotta make sure that the sports channels stay pure. So you know
Well, I
that's
I
that's what I've been
commend
doing.
you, and the reason I did that is because I knew that you would keep the level of moderation high.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
hopefully you won't be called, you know, communist China or Putin, as I was called before.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
but I trust you, and there's
yeah.
not many people that I trust with that job, so that's where we're at.
I'm honored to get that responsibility. I honestly think the biggest thing that I'm going to be monitoring is the people who post things that are already posted because it annoys me so much in all of my group chats. I'm like, bro, you have the power to scroll up and see everything that's said before someone before you post anything, and we all follow a lot of the same accounts, so it really does grind my gears when I see something that's shared that's already been put in there. So that'll
And
probably
and
be the thing that I monitor the most.
and the thing that's crazy is that, like, especially I'm just talking just specifically in, like, our wrestling chat, and
Yeah.
this isn't, like, a shot at anybody, but, like, generally, if you have not been in the chat all day and you're coming with a bit of news to bring, say,
Hmm.
I got something, it's hot off the press." I'm telling you, look at the time that it was posted. If it
Yes.
was posted at 7 AM, it is very likely it's been posted already, and people
Yes.
still do. It's like literally sometimes it takes like a 2 or 3 scrolls up.
Yeah.
Normally and generally, it's a very active chat.
Very.
It's very it's not often that the chat is not active,
Yeah.
but, like, generally, if you've seen it or you just saw it, we've already seen it. We've seen it
Hmm.
hours ago. So,
Yeah.
you gotta just use your best discernment to
Yeah.
figure all of that shit out. But, um, New York, New York, you guys are on fire right now.
The
Oh,
coast is lit, man.
the
It's
coast
it's
is
lit.
the city up, now we lit, huh? That's the
City is back up. It's a must we outside.
yeah, city Jesus. Listen, man, I'm not talking about the Yankees and the Mets.
Uh-huh.
I'm not
Yeah.
talking about the Knicks.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the rap beef is back.
Yeah.
Joey Badass
Mm,
is the greatest rapper of all time, apparently. So
yeah, man. I hate what rap beef does to y'all niggas. And it was not always like this. Like 2018 with, Drake Push, even less so the Tory Lanes, Joyner Lucas, Don Q shit. Like the signs were there, but this last 12 months has just been, well, no, more than that, because like that was in March. So this last 14, 15 months, like, I'm just like, yo, I did not know rap beef activated y'all in this way to where it's all you can talk about all day,
all you
every
care about,
day.
all you care about.
And you get super invested in these rappers that you don't care about otherwise. Like, no one was checking for Rayvon. Absolutely no. He dropped an album, what, last month? I ain't see nobody talking about it. But now, because he want to be, the top guy's trusted shooter. He's like fucking eighth on the roster, just stepping up for the label in the coast. Now everyone, yo, Rayvon. I'm like, come on, man. Like it's
What
it's just
what's crazy to me is that, like, people are now saying, like, rap is back and y'all mad?
fam,
And I'm like,
fam.
no.
That was my problem last year because like even like Snoop Dogg said so, and I'm just like, he was talking about the Drake and Kendrick thing. I'm like, what about the Drake and Kendrick beef inspired rappers to rap any differently than they were before then? Like rap has always like even if it's not the most mainstream, you got the Griseldas, you got the people on the West Coast, you have people who were doing that gritty hashtag real rap type shit, and like
Yeah.
why is beef an inspiration for people to like when why do y'all view it as this thing that's inspiring people to just rap better or rap differently? Because it's not like everyone else is jumping out and trying to beef with one another. A lot of niggas was quiet. We've talked about
Yeah.
how people have been so quiet as a result of that rap beef. So what are y'all seeing that I'm not seeing where you can, confidently and so passionately, excitedly say, "Oh, real rap is back." Like I don't get it.
And it really blows my mind too. And to your point, like people were very quiet to a point where it was like, this is almost like detrimental.
Yes.
Like what are you guys really standing on? Like what is really because I mean, and a lot of reasons they were quiet is because they would be attacked if they
Hmm.
didn't side with a certain member or a certain rapper or something like that. Like it
Yep.
became that type of fear for them.
Hmm.
And I mean, while understandable, it's also like nothing has actually really changed. I think if anything, this is still we're looking at one of the worst years for rap.
Yes.
And I think that, that's just off the top. I think that like that's undeniable,
Yep.
Armand. Like this is one of the worst years for the genre
Yep.
um that I've ever seen. And
Yep.
you look at the charts right now and you say that it was bad last year.
It was very bad last
Y
year.
and it's almost worse now,
Yeah.
where Morgan Wallen's about to do 500K. No one will sniff that this year.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. I don't think another rapper, barring the one who's on hiatus right now, can do that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, it's just not possible. So now we're left with this, and I
Yeah.
say this all the time, like, this is the new world that y'all wanted. This is the new era that y'all wanted, man. I
Yeah.
don't understand.
I will say though, because I actually sat and finally listened to all these records last night, and two more dropped today. So that's 23 songs of this exchange that's been going on since January. Joey is putting belt to ass on all these niggas. Like it is very embarrassing to
So
see
what
an
what is
entire
his
city.
what's
What
his
happened?
what's his end game here?
I don't know. I truly don't know. And well, I don't think he intended for it to become all of this, but I think he should have been a bit more conscious of him saying there's too much West Coast dick licking was gonna get the West Coast activated because they're so charged up from last year. Like obviously he was quoting Jay Z for people who know that bar,
Yeah.
but I don't think he intended for it to become all this. But then Ray Vaughn
Oh,
jumps
but
out.
was it not too much West Coast dick licking?
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just like, he ain't cap. Like, I'm seeing people from New York, Milwaukee, Idaho acting like they from LA based off of what Kendrick has accomplished. So Joey was completely right in that, and it was a cool slide bar. And I think there's obviously the conversations of New York falling off, New York being driven by the drill rappers and the melodic rappers and all of that. And there are still rappers in New York. They're just not the biggest, but I really think he felt that responsibility, take it on his shoulders and show like, yo, like we still out here. And so all respect to him for that. But when it became this, literally it's a 20v1 right now. He's going up against Daylight, he's going up against as Chike, he's going up against Ray Vaughn, he's going up against all these niggas, and he's putting belt to ass on them. Like he's been more entertaining, his bars have been better, and Ray Vaughn really fucked up by making it personal, bringing up his girl, bringing up all this other shit. Because the track Joey dropped, I listened to like 3 minutes of it. It's a 5 minute record. I listened to 3 minutes of it. He's bringing up all the shit that TDE has kind of been able to skate by, stuff that we've talked about that should make them look worse. And I'm like, yeah, nah, yeah, it's time to give it up. Like if we were at lunch at school and it was 8 niggas trying to diss one nigga and the one nigga was smoking them, we would be like, yo, it's over, stop. And especially when they start to get personal, be like, yo, it's over. Like go home.
Does he bring up the hypocrisy that we bring up all the time?
He didn't explicitly call it hypocrisy, but he did bring up some allegations toward TDE executives. He brought up a lot of things that we've tried to like that we're shocked that people have overlooked and ignored. Um, And so yeah, I've been way more entertained by him than anyone else, and I j- I really hope it stops just because it's making the timeline and group chats and all that, starting to get to that very annoying place that it was all over the last 15 months.
But it says a lot that this is the only thing that can get a real reaction out of anybody anymore.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
says a whole lot. It
Yeah.
really says that, we're in a drought,
Hmm.
a heavy drought.
Yeah.
And when you look at what's to come, it's not much on the radar.
Yeah. Thug
We
is the only rap album I'm excited for. We don't know when Cole is coming. Gunna, I really thought he should have taken a year off, but he's apparently dropping soon. It's shit dry, man.
It's very dry. And you know why it's dry? There's no new blood
Hmm.
uh in this whole thing right now. There's literally no new blood, and
Hmm.
we're seeing the after effects of that. But I mean, I look forward to your commentary all the time. I said it last week, like nobody gives a fuck about this C tier shit, and then you have
Yeah.
like so many talking heads talking about it. But we'll see how this shakes out.
Yeah.
Um, I truly just think their rap has really just evolved past the idea that like it has to be this type of rapper that is the only thing that is successful. It's like
Yeah.
it's very proven that that's not the case, and that
Yeah.
has not been the case for years. It has been pretty much the same 3 guys on the top of the
Hmm.
game forever. It is the same 3 guys at the top of the game forever, and they're pushing 40.
Hmm.
And I think we're looking at, I'm gonna be real, we're looking at what it looked like after new metal with, like, Corn and Limp Bizkit. And obviously, I'm researching for an episode of Black Print that's coming up next week, but, um, we're at that drought phase
Yeah.
for rap, and I don't think
Yeah.
people really recognize how scorched earth things. And people call last year, people called me, they called me the doomsayer, the old guy, the bum on on the corner saying the end is near. They called me that last year.
Yeah.
Look at me now.
It's funny. You always end up right. I'll never forget. This was years ago. Clubhouse when I first got on Clubhouse, and I thought it was super cool. You were like, "Yo, that shit's stupid." I was like, "What?" For like a month or two later, I was like, "Damn, J5 was right." you,
I
you
I
you
told
you
you.
usually end up right.
It was too many people that were using that shit, using Clubhouse to get, you know what I mean, a new lease on life. I
Yeah.
was like, "No, man, it's gonna as soon as people can go back outside, it's gonna be over with." And people went
Yeah.
outside like a month later, literally right after the election. Um, there's been a lot of stuff going on in the wrestling sphere. This is gonna be a prediction episode, obviously. So everyone who's listening to this gets it. It's the full episode free this week. So
Yes, sir.
be rejoiceful. We're gonna talk a little bit about Raw. We're gonna talk a little bit about SmackDown. We're gonna talk about Saturday night's main event. But I want to also talk about like just some of this discourse going on, and I know there's a lot of it, and
Yeah.
it's every week,
Hmm.
and it's almost like we have something new to talk about every single week in terms of
Yeah.
just what the IWC is saying. And what something that's bothered me is this is fairly fresh, so I want to bring it up now. Is like this idea that like people are saying that Samoans in the WWE are keeping black people down. Uh, I think we've really gone full circle in terms of stupidity,
Yeah.
where there was a point where we begged for minorities to be at the top of the food chain in
Yes.
wrestling. It finally happens, and then it becomes like, no, not that one. And I
Yeah.
think that that's obvious that that happens a lot within this community, where it's like if you don't do it the way that they really suppose that you should, that becomes derision.
Yeah.
We're and, I'm not above the complaints about like the top of the card in WWE in general. Like I see that there are certain programs that aren't exactly landing, but like it's the post mania malaise that we
Hmm.
always get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they turn it up in the summer, and then they were like, "Oh my god, it's October, and what are we doing?" You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
happens every single year, but now we're at the conversation where it's like, okay, Jacob Fatu thinks he's a black man. He cosplays as being black. Jey Uso cosplays as being black. All these people, and mind you, with the exception of Jacob, who just got introduced, I wasn't super familiar with him before then. But from what it looks like to me, Armand, they act pretty much the same as they have always acted before
Yes.
that they even got on WWE. Is that correct?
As far as I know, yes. I mean, I do think Jacob is I mean, he's landed on a couple catchphrases that are over, and so he's leaning into those more. But people love it. So why are you complaining about it if it's it's a very weird, like, I don't even know the word I'm looking for. I don't think it's double standard. I don't know. It's just weird. It's really
But
weird.
but even with that, the catchphrases are literally how he talks and how
Yes.
where he's from, they talk. So it's like,
Yeah.
and it's funny because if people would actually know someone from the Bay, I think a lot of people are like from fucking Indiana or some shit. Like if you would know
Yeah.
someone from the Bay, they believe they coined every phrase. They
Hmm.
believe they created every phrase. So they're loving this shit right now. You know what I mean? Because they
Yeah.
get to say we made that. And
Yeah.
I think that like to take away from their experiences, even if like here's the thing, I've heard the video Jake Fatu, the way he talks outside the ring, saying nigga and
Hmm.
shit like that. Like, I'm not cool with that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, look at the fuck who he's around
Yeah.
when he's saying that shit, right? These are
Yeah.
people that obviously accepted him into that. You know what I mean? And like what am I gonna say? What am I gonna say about that? But I think that like in general, we have gone around full circle where these people are like are so anti-racist that they have literally become racist.
Hmm.
Like it is literally like become a point where it's like, oh, if Montez Ford doesn't have the title tomorrow, then I'm going to blame Solo for all my misfortune. Like people were upset that Solo won a match, his first match, by the way,
Yeah.
in what 6 months, I think.
Bro, we were clowning him as being he's fucking Jacob's enforcer now. Like, he ain't done shit. He like
Nothing. If anything, if you enjoy who he is, you should be happy that he won and the thing is, we know why he's winning matches because they got to
Mhm.
heat him up a little bit. That's just
Yeah.
how basic program. Like sometimes I truly feel like Armand, these people actually don't watch the shows. They've never watched wrestling in their lives.
Yeah.
Like I'm truly convinced that they've never watched it before.
Yeah. Between their inability to manage expectations, taking shit so personal, these parasocial relationships with one character and whether they win or lose, like, it very much so feel like it almost feels like they're like little kids. Like when I was a little kid and Brock Lesnar would lose, I would be sad. But then I grew up and I realized, hey, like,
Yeah.
somebody else needs to win. Someone else is more over right now, or there's a purpose to all of this, and it really feels like they've just completely they didn't have that moment where it clicked for them,
Yeah.
where they were able to understand the business, and it's nuts.
But these are people that are adults that it
Hmm.
hasn't clicked for them yet. Like
Yeah,
it should be like today
yeah,
that this clicks for them. Like this is a today thing. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
it, I truly wonder what exactly what make people happy, and then that leads me to really just the booking in general, in both companies. I think the argument we had last week when I spit on the chat, uh, was that generally the main event scenes in both companies are bad.
Mm,
And I feel as though that is not the case.
not at all.
I
I
think
I
that
vehemently disagreed as well.
I think that if you look at what's on the top of we saw that cage match on an AEW. And again, it wasn't even a bad match. But again, it got buried underneath what we know was to come. It was the Death Rider stuff, which is an albatross on a show that has very little hours to fill. And I think
Mhm.
that's the biggest contention between AEW and WWE right now is that like you kind of get a different experience, even if it is pretty much the same playbook. You get different characters and different people slotted into it. In
Yeah.
AEW, it is this carries on and on and on. Like you had Ricochet versus a one-legged dude. You know what I mean? Like that was supposed to be their kind of mid card angle. I would say that right now in WWE, the mid card to me is probably the most exciting it's ever been.
It's
They're
fucking fire.
it's carrying the shows, tag team division on SmackDowns, carrying the shows. That is where their strengths are. I'm going to be sad, Armand, when it's time for the hitters to come back because these people are not going to get as much time as they should be getting right now. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and I mean that's the natural. progression of it all. But yeah, I mean, I'm really happy with everything, and like even the Raw tag team division, which is we've talked about that endlessly. It's not where it could be. Like they have teams, they're just not really using them. Like I'm happy to see the Creeds are in the tag team match next week. Um, shit, that it seems like they're about to finally do the A Town down under breakup angle, but the timing is bad because they should be fighting for tag team contention too. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's night and day. Like you look at Seth's faction, like they're not really holding anyone back in the way like Death Riders are.
yeah,
And that's
yeah.
also just dope as fuck because it's new. The Death Riders have been around for what, like over a year, and just kind of just ruined all the programming over there. Seth's shit is progressing so many stories. The Sammy and Jay stuff, Seth and Punk still going at it. Eventually,
Hmm.
we're gonna get Roman back. Eventually, like they're probably gonna add a new member. Like there's so many things happening now and things that you can look forward to that will probably be good. That it doesn't feel like an albatross in the same way Death Riders do.
Yeah, and again, I do think there's a lot to be desired. I think the women's U.S. title stuff is. I'm hoping Julia gets there and start shaking
Mhm.
shit up there. I think there's not much going on there. I think Aleister Black's talents could be utilized a lot better on that show right now. That's not to say that I don't have complaints, but I think that I just enjoy watching really just SmackDown right now a lot better than a lot of these shows.
Yeah,
To be honest, but we'll get to the actual last week's show in a second. Your boy Will Osprey, your man's,
my man's what?
yeah, your man's.
Ain't my man's.
He's still talking, man.
Does he stop talking?
He's still talking. He still believes that he still believes that the AEW is crushing WWE and whatever they do. He does this every time right before a show.
Yeah, his timing could not be any better.
Yeah. It worked this week. They had a rise in their viewership this week, so it might
Mhm.
have worked. People might have tuned in to see what that was all about. Is this bitter? Is this bitter grapes or is it the indictment of something more?
I really think he has a chip on his shoulder. I think there's maybe a part of him that what he's doing in AEW, and he thinks about what he could be doing over in WWE, the potential matchups he could have. I think we know that Rocket would have been strapped to him if he came over, and so I think it's partially that, and it's also like he's where he is, so he wants to be a proud company man, which we've seen a bunch of guys do until they leave. So he really wants to believe that the AEW product is comparable or even better.
Yeah,
And when his matches are constantly being glazed, and some other matches in that company are constantly being glazed, you kind of just latch on to whatever to try and make yourself feel better about the decision that you made and where you are. So I think there's a mix of things that are motivating what he says, but it's just very tone deaf because if you're only focused on good matches, sure, but how about revenue? How about merch? How about ticket sales? How about the fact that you don't have to tarp off entire sections of
hey,
arenas that you
hey,
go to? Like,
hey,
come on,
now
man.
they're the
Come
most
on, man.
successful. They're the most successful second place ever. All right,
Hey.
don't do that. Speaking of second place things. Last weekend's AEW Collision Beach Break was met with some not even controversy, some tragedy last week. With about 30 minutes left to go in the show, it just cut off, and Black Adam
Mm.
appeared on nigga screens.
That was you, Sink.
I
That was
hey,
all
I
you.
I try to tell niggas, man, I got a lot of power. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
man.
saying? In this game, Tony Khan will go onto Twitter and say, "Hey, for the East Coast, airing of this, it ended. We're sorry. However, we got a better plan. We got a bigger plan. It's going to be better. We're actually going to run the full we're going to run the full show on HBO Max on the West Coast." And then what happened on the West Coast, Armon? It ended it 30 minutes early there too. And Black Adam played. What are we doing?
And this is the company we're supposed to take seriously as the number two or the number one in some people's minds.
Yeah, the number one. And listen, if USA ever said, you know what? Fuck this last 25 minutes of SmackDown. We're
Hmm.
turning it off. Boy, we knew it. Brandon Thurston, we knew it. We knew it from the beginning that Universal was having issues with WWE and their
Hmm.
product. We knew it. Like that would be the
Hmm.
whole thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
That
USA execs didn't want to see another main event between Solo and Los Angeles Evening.
yeah, they they didn't like it. They weren't a fan of anything going on. Listen, that is the whole thing. You know what I mean? Is that we would never hear the end of it, but it got cut off. And from what we see, the actual episode is up on streaming right now, in its entirety. And I mean, listen, you know, these types of things happen, but when you kind of have these grandiose ideas and grandiose opinions and grandiose thoughts about this, one company, when they get beat down like this, it might be a little easier to swallow for their fans if they don't hype them up this much, because when they
Hmm.
get egg on their face, it looks bad, and they got
Yep.
bombed on all night for
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. And they typically get coddled a lot too.
Yeah,
But the stuff that I saw on the internet, it was like, yeah, y'all been flying a little too close to the sun, man. So hopefully they get right, learn from this, and make sure something like that don't happen again. But I don't know.
let's be real, Armon, they ain't learning shit.
They ain't learning shit.
They're not
I
about to
know.
learn a goddamn thing.
Not one. Nope.
Not anything. Also, in the news here, we have the social media account. Or did you see that Queen of the Ring movie?
I did not know.
The social media account for that went online over the weekend as well. Because they said, oh, and I noticed this too. They said this was the movie that WWE doesn't want you to see. And someone said, "Hey man, like I saw the movie. I don't understand why WWE wouldn't have wanted anyone to see this." And then the social media account said, "You should ask them." This is the actual account, by the way.
Hmm.
You should ask them why they tried to block us from running TV ads during Raw, illegal. Why they asked us to sponsor their events. We agreed to the financial deal, then they pulled out on the last minute. This is just a glimpse into the sabotaging behavior. Perhaps we will expand on the intel. I'm here to say we don't care. We don't care. We don't care.
Yeah, I haven't really paid much attention to that movie. I saw, a couple people were in it, so salute to them. But I saw some other wild tweet about biological females, and I don't
Yeah,
remember the
yeah. They
exact wording, but it just seems like some weird behavior happening from that side.
they have some anti-trans rhetoric, if you will.
Yeah, no
Uh
bueno.
that's just not cool at all.
Hmm.
And then, I think again, what do you what do you hope to gain from something like that? What are you hoping to gain from something like that? That's just stupid to even just say online. But also, if the deal didn't work out, y'all went to AEW anyway.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, you use that as leverage to leverage a movie in better places. Movie honestly was like a colossal flop,
Hmm.
and I haven't seen it. I've heard mixed reviews about it from people I've known who've seen the movie. I think that there was I think Charlotte was supposed to be in the movie, I think, and she got injured, so she ended up not being in the movie. So like a lot of that might have just been they just didn't want to promote it because she wasn't in it anymore.
Right.
That's just my guess. But if they wanted to pull up from the deal, whatever. If they don't want to run commercials, is that illegal? I need to look at the rules for that.
Uh, I don't I don't see how it could be, but I'm not too familiar either, so I don't know.
We'll see. I don't
Yeah.
know, but uh, just just bad vibes all around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bad vibes all around. Let's get into Raw and SmackDown really
Let's
quick.
do it.
SmackDown. I thought this was a great show this week.
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. The last couple weeks have been a lot better. I think H has finally figured out the 3 hour formula. He knows what people want to see. Stories are progressing. There's a lot of intrigue in certain directions and angles, and so
Yeah.
yeah, I've enjoyed the last couple weeks.
So we have the opening of the show. We have let's just start it off here. Solo Sokoa is one of the funniest motherfuckers in the company.
Yes.
bar none at this point.
Undoubtedly. We did not know he had this in him when he was just standing there with his arms crossed like Mr. Clean or whatever that dude is, but he's really broken out of his shell, and I think he's so much more tolerable when he's not in the world title picture.
Yes.
Like when he is able to just operate around people who aren't that much better than him in ring, and he doesn't necessarily feel forced on us, like you can really enjoy Solo a lot more. So I that promo was absolutely fucking hilarious.
And we're starting to see a little bit more of the tension between he and Jacob Fatu. I compare this to like A Town Down Under, and I'm just like this has been a slow burn, but it's been a slow burn that's had connections throughout the
Yeah.
year. I don't understand why they couldn't have just given this to Theory and Waller. It could have worked the same exact way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't understand why they did that.
Yeah, Theory and Waller were like mostly off of TV after they lost the tag titles, and they're barely on TV on Raw now. So yeah, it was something people cared about. Now, eh.
Yeah, is the best description of that. To be honest
Yeah,
with you,
yeah.
and then you have L.A. Knight crashing out all night. He interrupts the promo, and that cues up a match for later on in the night where we see some of the most interesting business I've seen in terms of debuting a new star. Uh, and this is honestly probably my biggest kind of mark on this show was the introduction of one Jeff Cobb, now known as JC or JC Mateo.
Hmm.
Don't really care about the name. I feel like I guess you got to have the last name because if it's just JC, they'll be like Jesus Christ. So you kind of have to have that, but I think he just looks all wrong for the part. He does not look imposing whatsoever. The outfit looked really bad. And I don't think the match, like, even though the match picked up at the end, it
Hmm.
did not do him any favors to go 50-50 with LA Knight on Friday.
Not in your first match, not when you're supposed to be in this group of dudes who are savages. Like even if has lost a lot recently, like the way that new bloodline, the family, whatever they're called, the way they're presented, like you brought in Tama, you made him look like a beast. You brought in Tonga, you made him look like a beast. And like LA is, upper mid card, fringe main eventer level, but yeah, not the most convincing first match to have.
Yeah, and he's got the fucking the suit jacket on and the little blazer, and then he takes it off, and he just looks short and like he's strong, but he just looks kind of out like not in shape.
Yeah.
I think that's what like putting him against LA Knight made him. It almost made LA Knight look worse for losing to him because he looked kind of slavish.
Mhm.
He didn't look good. Like you compare him to like put him next to Rusev, right?
Yeah.
Put him next to even like Otis, who looks really imposing as
Mhm.
a big dude. He just looked normal, and I just thought he did not feel like he was comfortable in that role that he was in on Friday. I don't know what it would have took, but like I would have to say I'm not giving this a passing grade in terms of just like debuting and even with the win, Armon, it didn't sit right with me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not moved. I'm gonna have to see more for sure.
And now we lead to more of this dissension between Solo and Jacob. Does this come to a head at Money in the Bank, or does this come to a head a little bit after that? It's because now to me it's looking like they'll actually tussle on the 2 night SummerSlam in August at MetLife.
I could see that. Yeah. I'm intrigued at, what's kind of gonna be the thing that finally breaks them up. I don't think Solo's winning Money in the Bank at all. So does someone, screw him there? Like does Jacob do it? Does JC do it? Like I'm interested in like what the steps will be before we get to that inevitable conclusion in that match. But I definitely think SummerSlam is a good time to do it. I think anything more than that will just feel like, all right, man, like this slow burn this is a crock pot. Like this is this is too much.
Yeah, and again, you don't want it to be like well, because we know that JC is gonna have a big part of that. We know Jeff Cobb can go. I know he can go. I just think it's gonna take him a little while to get through. And honestly, I feel like it just being those 3 right now actually makes it worse for JC as well. Because I think the
Yeah,
numbers advantage would actually mask the fact of the way that he looks right now.
yeah,
Um, So hopefully Tama comes back. I would imagine he'll be back in the next couple of weeks. I think Tonga Loy is actually even further off. I think he had actually worse injury than Tama Tonga had. Um, but we did have Money in the Bank qualifying matches. It seems like it's going to be six this year, 6 and 6 for men's
Hmm.
and women's this year. So
Yep.
good number. We always get good 6-person matches. We had Alexa Bliss, Chelsea Green, and Mi Chen. 9-minute match. Alexa Bliss wins the match. They're protecting Mi Chen a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I really. I mean, it seems like her and BFAB are shooing for a tag title match once Liv is finally back. So I definitely get it in that regard. I don't think Michin and BFAB will win that, but I mean, you got to make it convincing to someone. So
Yeah,
do what you got to do.
those titles are Raw based for the foreseeable future, I can
Yeah.
see. But I thought it was a solid match. I again, this is the kind of the mid card of SmackDown here. It's been Chelsea Green and Mi Chen.
Hmm.
It's but we're gonna get a shot in the arm because it's announced that Julia and they had a long this impressed me on Raw. They had a long storytelling about the Julia Roxanne relationship, which led them
Hmm.
to be on two different shows. They never do anything like that.
It was really dope how they produced that. That was fire. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, so in the sense that Julia feels as though Roxanne lost them the match on Raw,
Hmm.
and it's funny that that match seems so inconsequential when it happened a week ago, that it
Yeah.
actually had a lot of consequences on those 2.
Yeah, I was because when they did that like post show video where Julia's like, "There is no we," I was like, "Damn, like y'all was rolling together for weeks, and y'all was beating up on the champion and beating up on Rhea, and then you just said fuck her." I was like, "Oh, all right," but it all makes sense now. So
Yeah, pretty much, and, so now we have, uh, Alexa Bliss, the first person to move on here, and then we see another conversation between her and Charlotte, I believe, later in the show, where it looks like Alexa's trying to get Charlotte on her side. What's going on here with Miss Charlotte?
Uh I believe Neil said it. It looks like they're gonna do some type of old school, new school type thing, which I'm interested in because it's something different for Charlotte. Keep her away from that title, show that she can do other type of character work. Like if she wants to be that bitter old head that's fighting for titles, like channel that energy into something else. And I think putting her next to Bliss, who's just super over right now. Like I've never heard cheers for her like this. Like even when she was on her crazy reign of terror type 2 years, like she is people fucking love her. So
Yeah.
I think this is good for them. I'm interested in who else they might bring into the mix. But yeah, I think it's just most enjoyable to see Charlotte doing something different. That's
Yep.
the biggest thing for me. It's been the biggest thing for me for years.
Absolutely. We also had a fantastic fucking match between Fraxium and DIY.
Hmm.
Fraxium's been fucking killing it
Yeah,
for the last 4 weeks. They've
yeah.
been killing it. I think that we always knew, and again, what was cool about seeing people like Roxanne and Fraxium succeed on the main roster is that they had the seasoning. They had the right seasoning on in NXT to
Hmm.
where when they got here, it didn't look out of place,
Yeah,
and they
smooth
don't look out of
transitions.
place.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see them succeed in that way, but it's also cool to see them get those dream matchups that we never saw them have before. So the
Hmm.
DIY matchup is amazing. We had a lot of really cool counters, a lot of really cool moments within there, and again protecting DIY as well. Frazier rolls up Gargano for the pin, and then we also get the announcement that they are getting the tag title match with the Street Profits the next week. If I was a betting man, I would say that this tag match gets ruined and we'll probably get some sort of match at the PLE. I think everything's been building for this tag team division to get a PLE match, and I think it's going to happen in LA.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a really good like for people like you and I who have enjoyed their work and wanted to see the division get more looks. I think that would just be a really feel good moment for them and the work that they've been putting in. So yeah, I expected DIY, but there's also Motor City Machine Guns. Like there's a couple different options. So fuck it, give us a fatal, give us a triple threat. I don't care, but I'm loving this. Like the SmackDown division is crazy. They ain't even need to get a team like Fraxium, but
Yeah.
they got them now. So now it's even more fire. And then you just look at Raw like, huh,
Fuck are y'all doing? Fuck is going on here? We also got Aleister Black versus Carmelo Hayes 2. 10-minute match ended with a DQ. They're protecting this feud. I see it on two ends, right? They're protecting this feud because they believe it is a big time match. They did the same thing in NXT with Alistair, with Velveteen and things like that, where they kind of protected a feud and made sure that it kept going. Um, but it also felt like they were kind of teasing the idea that Alistair needed help with these two, which I'm like, why? Like, what exactly y'all doing here?
Yeah, that's the exact vibe I got from it. So I haven't spent too much time thinking about who Alistair could work with to, fight them off. There's no one that immediately jumps out at me unless it's a Cody at some point. But I think if and when Cody comes back, it's gonna be for Cena. So I I don't know
unless
there.
unless the idea here, Armand, is that they got Cena or they got Cody doing side quests like they always do until he's able to get back um to the title picture.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean we've talked about how an Alistair side quest would be dope for him. So I think it's just a matter of when he comes back. Like,
Yeah.
is Cena gonna have a title match at Money in the Bank? Probably, but maybe we don't know. Um, so yeah, I think it's just a matter of the timing and when it happens. But Cody's had beef with Miz, he's had beef with Mello, so it would make sense. I know I'm sure he would love to work with Alistair as a tag team before they eventually feud. So maybe.
Yeah, and again, I just think, and I agree with Mills. They need to be spending a lot of time making Aleister Black look as cool as possible.
Hmm.
And I think when you are faced with the possibility that he might turn heel or something soon, I think he's done all he could do with these two. I
Yeah.
think Carmelo is another rising star who should be in the Money in the Bank match.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, he should be in the Money in the Bank match. He should not be kind of wasting his time here with with Aleister Black, and not to say like wasting his time, but like he's got bigger fish to fry in my opinion
Hmm.
than this, and I just don't think it's like the greatest idea for him to be doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like they've shown us how good Alistair is in the ring already. So let's get some character and story progression. And like you just get that feeling like they want to do more with Mello, they want to do more with Alistair, but they're just not pulling the trigger yet. So hopefully we come around to that. 'Cause I thought Mello was really good in last year's Money in the Bank, and honestly, depending on who else ends up in that match,
He could win.
yeah, he'd low key be one of my favorites to win. So yeah,
He could
let's do it.
definitely win. Next week we actually have the Money in the Bank qualifier for the women: Charlotte, Julia, and Zelina. What's your
Hmm.
thoughts on that?
I think it's gonna be good. Those are three solid workers. Charlotte's competed in Money in the Bank ladder matches before. Hasn't won one. Definitely don't want to see her win this. I feel like it's going to be a similar scenario to what we're going to talk about on Raw, where there was someone who was there that clearly wasn't supposed to take a pin, but had to due to an injury. Like I don't think Julia factors into the finish at all. I do think Charlotte will probably end up winning that, but I think it should be a really good match.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it would just make a lot of sense for Julia to win that because Roxanne's in it.
That's also true. That's
I
also
I,
very true.
I think that would make sense too. I think that Charlotte continues her slide. I'm not gonna lie. I think she's
Hmm.
gonna continue to slide, and
Hmm.
that's gonna be the main contention is that things don't really work out for her here. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
We had another qualifying match. We brought this up a little bit because this kind of led into the LA Knight thing. But the Solo Sokoa, Ray Phoenix, Jimmy Uso. Listen, guys, Phoenix is gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Where AAA is soon to come. It is very clear that they want this El Grande Americano thing to end relatively imminently with
Hmm.
the AAA people. Just be patient.
Yeah.
Be patient. They're gonna get their revenge. I would not be shocked if Phoenix showed up on Raw or Penta showed up on SmackDown. I think
I
that's your end game there.
Yeah, I think it's only a matter of time. I mean, the AJ and Penta were great on Raw. Again, we'll get to that, but yeah, they're kind of outnumbered right now. If they're gonna keep feuding with JD, like they're gonna need JD and El Grana Americano. Like they gonna need somebody. So yeah, Phoenix, go slide over there, help Big Bruh or
Uh,
Lil
did you
Bruh.
did you peep the actually no, I'm bugging. Didn't Shinsuke say that LA Knight and Alistair are in the Money in the Bank qualifiers next week? I'm bugging. I did
I might have missed that segment somehow.
Shinsuke had a Shinsuke had a promo where he calls out LA and he calls out Aleister Black and he says that when he qualifies next week, um, that he's gonna. I don't even think they made the graphic for it, but I feel like they alluded to that, right? Like, hold
Maybe.
on, Money in the Bank qualifier, Nakamura, Black, LA Knight. Yeah, yes, LA Knight, Aleister Black, Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one.
So again, they seem to have moved Alistair away from them, but it's like he needs to make a big moment. I would
Yeah.
imagine they're probably gonna fuck him over to have him lose that match in
Yeah.
LA, or Shinsuke probably takes that pin. But it's like there's a bunch that like those three is a match between three guys that have nothing to do right now.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like LA can't go and face Nakamura again. Alistair's a babyface right now, who shouldn't be a babyface. I'm gonna be real; he should be a heel. And I don't know. We'll have to see. But we got a fucking instant classic after we got the telenovela between Santos Escobar and Berto. I don't know what's coming with that either. I have no clue what they're planning on that. Does that have AAA implications? Who knows? Um, Tiffany Stratton, Nia Jax. It's time to print out the Nia Jax apology contract, Armon.
Yeah. Yeah. We might have to hang her jersey up, man. That was fantastic. That's and we've had some very good women's matches this year. Rhea Io, Bianca, um, a couple of the NXT women's matches, but this is a
I mean,
TV
shit,
vein right here, bro.
Julia, fucking Julia, Jordan Grace.
Yeah. Yep.
Julian Jordan
Yeah.
Grace is one of them ones. Again, we have we truly have a embarrassment of riches as it pertains to the women's division, but especially on SmackDown, they're getting rolling with this really great core of women here between Nia, Tiffany, Naomi, uh, Jay Cargill, and this is in the absence, Armand, of Bianca Belair, who was
Yep.
kind of the glue that held all of this together for so long. I was
Yeah.
worried about how this would happen without her, but they're doing fine. And then you have this
Hmm.
fucking match. You see Nia doing the fucking the crossbody moonsault, the fucking Naomi interruption with Jay coming out, the prettiest moonsault ever kick out that had one of Joe Tess's best calls I
Boy, that
think
was
he's ever had.
nuts. And then she hits Tiff with the annihilator. I was like, oh shit, is she about to win? Like, oh nah, they're not gonna do this, right?
Bro,
And she grabs the rope, which was fire.
the rope grab, Nia brings in the chair, Tiffany hardways Nia with the chair,
My
fucking
God.
blasts her in the face with the chair. Oh, Nia starts bleeding immediately.
Yeah.
And then she hits the prettiest moonsault ever, retains the title. This match went a little under 15 minutes. This was rolling. This was one of my
Hmm.
favorite matches of the year. I want to make sure I made sure to write this match down because when we do our SmackDown match rankings, this is the one to beat in terms of SmackDown TV matches of the year.
Ooh, it's between that and that TLC match, man. But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a banger. The division just feels fresh, and it's people that have been featured. But it's Naomi with her character now. It's Tiff really establishing herself as a champion, not just a Money in the Bank winner, but like a champion who can beat people. And Nia is just giving. She's working her ass off. Like it's fun. It's really enjoyable to watch.
And then Tiffany wrapping up her first feud as a champion.
Yep.
And again, like this show, like we always, again, like we said with Roxanne and them, we always knew they had the spark there, but when are they gonna pull that out of them? And I think that we're starting to see that with Tiffany now. It's starting to click. It's really starting
Yep.
to click with her. The selling, the ring generalness. You know what I mean? I
Hmm.
was a little apprehensive weeks ago of being like, I don't know if Tiffany and Jay can do this. I'm a little bit more comfortable now with saying that Tiffany can probably help lead that and help make somebody look better because there's somebody in Naya who helped her look better.
Yep.
So we
Completely
we
agree.
are we are able to kind of see where we're going here now. Let's get to Raw before we get over to Saturday Night's main event really quick. Man, there's been very few bad. or middling or average Raws since the Netflix move, right?
I can't think of one. I really can't think of one. Like we get strong openings every week. I think all of the main events have been fire. Like I might have forgotten about one just because May. Like it's been 5 months so far. So someone would have to tell me like, nah, that one random March Raw was mid. But they were in Europe at the time, so probably not. Like
Yeah.
it's the show. It is absolutely the show.
We had an opening with Logan Paul coming out, and Gunther comes out to confront Logan Paul. This Gunther soft face turn is happening. The
Hmm.
handshake with Pat was a little bit more than what we thought it was a couple of
Yeah,
weeks ago.
yeah. That's
Uh,
good. I think it's about time. I know we thought it was going to happen last year, and they didn't do it, but it ended up working out. Especially when where they went with Jay. But I think right now with Seth being top heel, with Logan being more present, um, they can use Gunther as a face. So
yeah,
I like it.
they really could. And again, he's not a face that is bending to the will of the fans or bending to anything. He's a face that is just demanding respect. And I think that's the
Hmm.
important distinction between why this could work or should work
Yep.
should they push this a little bit further. And again, you have really great foils um that he could bounce off of. Logan
Yeah.
Paul being one of them. Logan Paul
Yeah.
being one of them. Um and then we go forwards and we start having our qualifying matches. Uh, I just got to get the bummer one out the way here. Uh, the match between Rhea, the returning Kyrie Sane and Zoe Starks. Listen, man, I'm glad Kyrie's back to the pirate gimmick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pirate
Super fun.
pirate gimmick is so fun.
Yep. Yep.
But then midway through the match, man, Zoe Stark like knee bends in a way that it should not bend, and
Yeah.
she is out of the match. Very, very terrible, awful injury. And the thing is that sucks about it the most is that Zoe was just now coming back on her own and getting, her wits about her. And she has another debilitating knee injury.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
from the way it looks, she's gonna be out for some time.
Yeah. Yeah, that knees ain't supposed to bend like that, and she was screaming in agony immediately, and they weren't even putting the camera on her. Like that's just immediately went to commercial. So that was
Yeah.
very telling in itself. And it sucks because like she's a great worker. Like she may not get positioned, in the same way as other women, but like you want to see her in these triple threat matches. You want to see her. She wasn't going to win, but she's been great in Money in the Bank matches before. So like she's a really, not to use it as a pejorative, but she's a great hand to have. And now they've lost one more woman who can be there to just ensure good matches. But
And I
yeah.
argue that that's the reason that she was kept. And I said
Hmm.
this, the other week when we talked about the releases, like she is a worker and
Yeah.
she's young. And that's why they're going to keep her because they called her up fast for a reason. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? They
Yeah.
called her up because they knew that she was a worker.
Yeah.
Just a real bummer,
Yeah.
really. They had a tag match between AJ Styles and Penta versus Finn Balor and JD McDonough. JD and Finn, I forget because they had those fucking tag titles and never defended them for fucking months. But they were fucking they're one of my favorite tag teams when they're rolling like this.
Bro, banger.
And Greenville was awake,
Hmm.
to say the least.
Hmm.
They were freaking awake, and this was just a fun ass match. AJ Styles is really back.
He's
He
Edge, you tricked us, man. It's all your fault, Adam. Cope. You tricked us. Because AJ Styles is still fucking phenomenal.
and then AJ pretty much he does it all in this match. I think
Hmm.
again, it was this match. It was the match with Finn last week that was great too. He's really getting kind of his legs back under him, so to speak. No pun intended, because I know he broke his fucking leg. But
Yeah, yeah,
the big part of the match comes with El Grande Americano coming in and headbutting Penta, and which leads to the loss here.
yeah.
Penta very quickly has become someone who can lose and still stay over.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
is not being hurt from any of these losses at all. He was hot as fish grease in
Hmm.
Greenville on Monday.
Yeah. And he's not losing to bums either. Both times he's been pinned, it's been Finn Balor, which is like, even if Finn hasn't been positioned as the strongest on the roster, still fucking Finn Balor. So it's
Yeah.
not a bad loss to take, and it's doing a lot for Finn as well and for Judgment Day because this new iteration, like while I'm entertained by it, it's kind of wearing out its welcome, and so I think whatever changes are coming for them, which seem to be coming very soon, I think it'll be a good shot in the arm.
Yep. Another qualifier here. Becky Lynch versus Roxanne Perez versus Natalia. Look at the low key legend here.
Hmm.
Uh, really good stuff here. Becky giving a lot to both Natty and Roxanne. Lyra shows up out
Hmm.
of nowhere and pulls Becky out the ring, leading to Roxanne getting the pop rocks on Natalia for the 3 count. I listen, there are continuity experts right now in WWE. Someone's Natty's gonna remember
Hmm.
that Roxanne or that Lyra pulled Becky out the ring that caused her to lose.
Absolutely.
She's gonna remember that.
Absolutely. She's like the woman Kevin Owens in that way. Like it's gonna come up one day. Like shit, she might join the old heads and help Becky, win the title or something. Like
Yeah.
it's that seems very much so of her personality.
Um Roxanne's in,
Hmm.
Rhea's in. We got one more spot for Raw, one more in what two more spots for SmackDown left
Yep.
open. We had Sheamus versus Grayson Waller. Whatever.
Yeah, it was boring at first. Crowd eventually really got into it. I love Theory's character work during the match. It seems like he's finally come to his senses and realize like Grayson is the architect of his downfall,
Yeah.
and so now he's kind of getting his lick back in very sly and clever ways. So whenever that eventually comes to a head, will be cool.
I just can't bring myself to care anymore. Tyrese Halliburton announces that he is part of WWE 2K25.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, whatever. um, and then we have a segment with Finn arriving to the Judgment Day clubhouse with Roxanne Perez. How excited were you when you saw that they finally kind of pulled this rabbit out the hat? We've been seeing it for weeks now, and now they're finally going to go forward with the Roxanne being the architect, as you said before, of
Yeah.
Liv Morgan's demise here.
Boy, this is better than fucking. I'm trying to think like TV shows I watch that are dramatic in this way, intertwining love and violence and all. This is some good shit, boy. Dom about to go 3 for 3. Finn is still being conniving because it seemed like he was gonna be the one to get booted, but now he got Roxanne in his pocket. I wonder if JD's gonna stay loyal to him. What the hell is Carlito gonna do? Like there's so much intrigue to this, and Judgment Day is like kind of like the bloodline story. Judgment Day is never going to end. We're just going to get new members coming in and
Yeah,
out,
it's
and
gonna
I'm
splinter off.
like I'm fine with that. Like as long as they keep it fresh every year, like I'm fine with that. So I think it's dope. Roxanne pulling up with the gifts was funny. Like she's showing some some comedic timing and comedic chops. So it's all
I
dope. And
I loved Carlito getting the apple slapped out of his hand by Raquel. Again,
yeah.
Raquel acting like she doesn't care about him on a any normal day. But when he picked that apple up, she's like, "Fuck, get this apple out of your head." But then he
Hmm.
pulls another apple out the bag. I said, "That's just that's just comedy right there." I
Yeah.
loved it. The chicken nugget platter.
Hmm.
They need to put spray some water on them or something. They look like they was about to die. But
Boy.
we'll give it up next week, Roxanne. You good, you good.
Hmm.
Next week you get Tozawa versus Rusev, New Day versus Creeds versus War Raiders on the show, and more qualifiers. They make sure not to mention who's going to be in these qualifiers.
Hmm.
Very
Yeah.
very telling.
Yeah.
And then we get Braun Breaker versus Jay Uso. Listen, man, as much as people like to fucking shit on Jay's in ring stuff, he looked really good here. I don't understand it. I'll
Hmm.
never understand it. I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I don't expect him to be the most technically sound guy. I don't expect him to be super smooth. Like he fights kind of like what his personality conveys. Like this nigga's just trying to like win at all costs, and he's very emotional and passionate in the ring. But that pop up Samoan drop, and Braun did a lot of work with how high he jumped. But like that shit looked clean as fuck. So
Yeah.
I do think he's rising to the occasion of being a world champion. And yeah, I enjoyed that. I was interested in how it was going to finish because like Jay and Braun are 1-1 right now, but given the tag title match, the tag team match coming up rather, it made sense for it not to go to a clean finish because you don't want to beat Braun yet, and Jay probably shouldn't be losing a non-title TV main event to someone who he's not going to be defending the title against anytime soon. So
Yep.
it made sense, but it was good.
Yeah, I thought it was really, really solid. Jay wins by disqualification because Seth comes out in them tight ass jeans. Seth, get your life together, bro.
This nigga was Seth freeballing Rollins, bro. What the fuck was going on?
Like, what are you doing, brother? Get them shits out. What are you doing, bro? Come on, man.
uh,
And then that was the end of the show. You had, well, actually, no, I'm bugging because you had the pop of all pops for CM Punk. I've never heard a pop this loud for
bro,
somebody before, bro.
they like his theme being sung a cappella reached Randy Orton voices levels. Like they was lit for him, and it's like the pop was almost as if he hasn't been around, but he's been on the show every week since Mania. So it
Yeah.
was really interesting to hear them be so loud for him. But hey, man, Punk is Punk. Like he's so tough.
Swag too tough. I wonder what he doing after Saturday Night's main event. I wonder. Speaking of Saturday Night's main event, let's get into it. Four
Let's get
matches
into it.
announced right now. I, I was mentioning this to Mills the other day. No women's matches yet.
Yeah, that was
Should,
interesting.
should we freak out? It's four matches. There could still be room. If there was to be one women's match to be added, it'd have to be from SmackDown. It looks like so.
Yeah.
Um, are we thinking that we're gonna get Naomi Jade too, or are we, or like, are they just gonna leave the women? I just can't see them leaving the women off completely.
Naomi J2 would be cool. Maybe Zelina Chelsea rematch, something with her. But yeah, I do think one more match is going to get added, and I don't think that they would completely leave the woman off this show. So we'll see, we'll see.
Yeah,
Right now I can't call it.
whatever it is, it'd have to be a shorter match because there
Hmm.
is a steel cage match, which I would imagine opens the show.
Hmm.
And then John Cena closes it. I honestly am not expecting many surprises here though. So I
No,
mean,
no.
You got Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre steel cage match. Does Drew close the loop here? He's looked strong. I'll
He
say that.
has, he has. I'm I almost compare this feud to the Punk feud in terms of how long he's been beefing with Priest. And Drew won that first match, and then Punk got him, the two matches after. So I'm interested in what they're doing with Priest. Like the way I'm predicting this is like, all right, what's the next direction for both of these guys? Like Drew can lose and be fine. Priest has kind of been cooled off a bit. Now he's in the U.S. title picture. I don't really know if he'll ever, if he's gonna try to, get the belt again. So I think like recent history has me thinking Priest is gonna win. But if you do want to do something with Drew, I think it would be a really cool defining victory for him to get Priest again. So I'm gonna lean in the Drew direction, but I would not be shocked if Priest wins here.
I'm not shocked that you would lean in the Drew direction.
I mean, like who would be,
Not shocked here. I'm actually gonna go. I'm gonna go against you here. I think Damian Priest wins.
Yeah,
I think there is a concerted effort to make sure that Damian Priest stays important,
yeah,
even if he's not in a title picture. Even though I think there are stronger feuds for him to have outside of it right now, and outside of Drew McIntyre. To be honest with you, I think Drew should go after John Cena. I'm sorry. I think he should go
yeah.
after John Cena. Like
He
I think
absolutely
that
should.
there's no bigger way to get someone who is already getting cheers, by the way,
Hmm.
to look better than to put him against one of the biggest heels right now, and to finally get him over the bridge. I mean, Drew has been in heel for how long now? 3 years?
It's been almost yeah, it's been almost 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, almost 2 years here. So like, I think the fans want to cheer him again. He's a cool fucking person. Um, have that happen. I would love to see that match happen or that feud happen, especially if we are holding off on Cody, which I'll get to in a second here. But I think Damian should be going against Aleister Black. That is the cool feud that we want to see. That's the
Yeah,
fight that we want to see is
yeah,
Aleister and Damian.
yeah. That I think that would be great for both of them. So yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, I think both guys come out of this match fine either way. And I also just think it'll be really good. Their street fight at Mania is still one of my favorite matches from that weekend. So I'm looking forward to this.
Then we have CM Punk versus Sami Zayn, or CM Punk and Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker in a tag team match. This just looks to be like the Donnybrook of the whole show. I can't see this following traditional tag team rules here.
At
Um,
all.
but it's again, it's with fan favorites against two people that they're still trying to establish as huge heels. I think Seth, they're still trying to make sure people don't cheer him a lot. I would
Yeah,
really love if they would change his theme music. I think it's probably time for that to go away for a while if they want to get this heel turnover.
yeah, completely agree. Yeah, this should be fun. After the way Raw ended with them, fighting into the arena, I was like, yo, half of me was just like, yo, they might as well just like put a stip on this, like no disqualification, street fight, tornado tag will be dope, like something like that. So we'll see.
Yeah,
But
I got
my Go
I
ahead.
got the heels winning. I got the heels winning
Oh
this.
yeah, yeah, undeniably. My thing is, I think if you really want to like have a defining victory, to use that word again, for Seth in this faction, you have Seth finally pin Punk, because he hasn't pinned Punk yet.
Yeah,
Um, since Punk has been back and they've been feuding. And I think especially if it comes from Sammy screwing it up, since we're kind of wondering, like what's Sammy's direction gonna be? Like, I think you have Seth pin Punk here, and that'll be huge for them.
yeah, absolutely agree. Then you have Jay Uso versus Logan Paul. I mean, this is a push. Jay's gonna win. Um, I would love to see Logan get to a mid card feud with somebody on the roster. I don't know who on Raw kind of fits that. He's faced everyone.
Yeah,
Um, I just he needs to find something where he doesn't
yeah.
have to like wrestle only champions.
Yeah, because he's like he's more present now, which I think is good. But it's just never been anything consistent for him. It's a build to a PLE, and then he goes away, and then he comes back, and it's a build to a PLE a couple months after, and then he goes away, and then he comes back. And so I do think it'll be good to get him to do something more consistent. Um, whether it's, I mean, I don't know who he would tag with, but shit, the Raw tag division, you get him someone to work with. I'd be into that. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie. I'd be into Logan, teaming up with someone and getting those Raw tag titles and kind of giving them more of a platform. But yeah, this match should be interesting. I'm interested in these two styles, going against one another.
yeah. Two
Um,
two styles is exactly what you would say. Jay and fucking Logan Paul.
because Logan will be elite sometimes, and then he'll have the yips some other times. And Jay, he's been bringing it lately, but sometimes you never really know what you're going to get from him. So this should be a tight 14 minutes. But yeah, Jay's gonna win. Like I think the ship has sailed on the world title that we thought Logan would maybe get at some point. Like the
Yeah.
ship has definitely sailed on that. So yeah,
Stephanie just posted a new pic, man.
yeah, I saw that. I saw
Yeah,
that, and it
it
and
hurts.
it just made me think about Miles Bourne being the one who took it. And
It hurts, man. It
yeah,
still
that's
hurts.
I'm sorry, bro.
It still hurts. Then main event for what I assume would be the main event. We have our truth versus John Cena.
So, I'm gonna lead with love. This makes sense. This makes sense. Our truth 60-year-old ass been calling John Cena his childhood hero for forever. Cena was being mean to him. This it story wise, I'm not mad at it. Retirement tour, all of the potential matches he could be having if he was a face or if circumstances were different. That's where I'm just like, hey man, but this may be something that he wanted. That don't mean I gotta want it. but but
Yeah.
uh yeah, don't really have high expectations for this.
I don't either. I don't actually don't expect it to go long either.
Yeah.
Like the Cena Orton match from a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago did either. Um, it just seems like it's Cena getting to have his last match with his favorite people.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's really what it seems like. He's getting to do what he wants to do. Um, Maybe we'll get another flair to his entrance.
Mhm.
Did you see AEW Mole's idea about Cena or what he said? He claims that he heard about it.
Yeah, isn't it like they're eventually gonna keep stripping down his theme and his entrance
Yeah,
and all that, and like to really drive home the ruin? Like, Mole man, just stick to the rivers and all that that you're used to, bro. Like we don't need you booking over here.
yeah. I
We
don't think
don't.
that they're gonna take the music away, but I do think they're gonna take the color out of his gear. I do think he's gonna slowly have like black and white gear. I
Yeah,
don't think they're gonna take
which will be
the
cool.
yeah, that'd be fine. It would match with that, but it's like again, like I said before on the show, like you're really using his final. This is his final
Yeah,
appearances, and you're a lot of them are going to be with him as a heel. They need to wrap this up pretty fast. I
yeah.
know that this match will probably get him booed on this night, I'm sure, but this is also his last match in Tampa, and he lives here, mind
Hmm.
you. He lives in Tampa. I don't know if he's gonna get booed against our truth. I don't think this is gonna
I
happen.
Yeah, he's got a because that's my thing. I think I talked about it on Rewriters recently. Like he hasn't really done anything like super vile. Like these low blows and title shots just aren't enough. Like if you're trying to ruin wrestling, if you're trying to really put over this character, like I got to see you do some real evil shit. And I think our truth would be the perfect person to do it with. But if he does go that route, that means he's going to be a heel even longer, probably. And we only got 6.5 months left with him. He's only got like 20 something appearances left.
They
And
added the Raw after Money in the Bank, so they added one.
okay, so 20
Yeah.
something plus one. But I've kind of accepted maybe this retirement tour won't be what I thought it was, where we see him go up against some of the new guys, which we know Face Cena would love to do, and close some loops with like AJ and Punk, and then maybe one more with Roman. Like it's he's driving the boat, and I don't really know where he's taking it, but
Yeah.
whatever, I guess.
Yeah, I truly I don't know. I think again we can't really talk about match quality. Our truth is who he is. Cena, as depleted as he is now, is ultimately who he is. Also,
Yeah, yeah.
but when you think about kind of what's happened and like how this is really shaked out, does this leave the door open for Cody to come out at the end of the show? I think that's the question everyone's asking is when Cody's coming back. I'm not too sure, or I'm not too convinced that he comes back at the end of this particular show. I don't think he will.
I don't think so either. Like you look at the last couple Saturday night's main events, like the first one was when Kevin Owens power drove Cody, but then the second one was just Jay losing to Gunther again. So I don't know if they want to do that big moment here. I don't like these shows have been pretty like by the book, and even the KO Cody thing. I think that happened. That happened on social media after. I don't think that
Yeah,
was
that
shown on
happens.
TV.
It was on Bad Blood, wasn't it?
Well, but Bad Blood was when he beat him up by the truck,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
somebody caught that. Saturday night's main event was when he finally hit him with the power driver. So I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I really can't call it, bro.
I can't call it either. I'm truly hoping that this ends up doing something to aid this heel turn of which we are in year or month 3 of at this point,
Yeah, yeah,
and has not really bore any fruit other than putting your biggest baby face off the show for a
yeah,
month.
yeah.
um, but again, we're looking at it through the lens of like again, I say this all the time, like it's not my job to make this storyline better. It's their job
Hmm.
to figure this shit out. I don't envy them for doing this, and I especially don't envy them knowing the insurmountable odds that Triple H and the booking committee had to face while making these decisions.
Yeah,
So I'm hoping that just like he tried to do at the last pay per view at Backlash, that he tries to put the car back on the road a little bit, but you can't really put the car back on the road too much, Armand, and like have Cena do something truly heinous because,
Mhm.
like you said, we don't have that much time left with him. For
Yeah.
him to go fully to the dark side like that, we got to start pulling him out like right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it seemed like he was getting there after Backlash, and then, he hit, Truth with the AA, but it seemed like that old Cena was trying to, peek his way out. He looked like he was judging himself for what he did to Orton, and then actually, taking questions at the press conference, or you getting close to it. Like, there's some conflict within him. So it's something that I'm definitely paying attention to. But yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do, and it's not up to me to figure it
Yeah,
out. So
exactly. It is not up to us to figure this shit out. It is up to them. But well, I want to thank you for
yeah,
being on
man.
the show this week. I appreciate everything that you do
Yeah,
for
bro.
the A show and for this and coming on the show this week. Thank you so much, man.
Man, it's always a pleasure, my brother. Anytime you need me, I got you.
And Saturday night's main event will be on Saturday, and we'll be back next week to talk about all the fallout from that, as we have literally Armand like a week and a half until Money in the Bank. So we'll have another prediction show in 2 weeks. So this is just one of those, but it's a very like busy summer for WWE, and then in the
Yeah,
fall it's just completely slow. like
yeah,
like the pay per views end in November. So let's appreciate and cherish these moments
yeah.
for what they are right now.
Word to
Uh,
DMV. We cherishing.
yes. Thank you guys for listening to the A Show, and we'll be back next week with all the fallout from Saturday Night's main event, as well as some new Money in the Bank qualifiers, and some new Money in the Bank entrants, rather, that we'll be talking about as well. So for Armand, I am Justin, and we'll see you guys next week on the A Show. Peace.